Welcome everyone to the Better Together series for of CenTegra. Today we are going to cover ControlUp and Citrix, like how both the solutions work together. Let's wait for a couple of minutes, maybe 3 to 4 minutes, to other participants to join, and then we'll start. Thank you. Thanks for joining. So for the participants joined recently, we are just waiting for 2 minutes for other participants to join, and we are starting the webinar in the next 2 minutes. Thank you. Okay, so let's start. Thanks everyone for joining today's webinar of Better Together series. Today we are going to talk about ControlUp and Citrix, how these two solutions work well together. So today we have with us Mr. John Perry. He is the channels director for Americas and APAC. Hey, hi, John.
Hello. Nice to see everybody.
Yeah, so I'm going to quickly introduce about CenTegra, and then we'll go ahead with today's topic, and I'll hand it over to John, and John will take it over, and like he will talk more about ControlUp and like how ControlUp solution works well with Citrix. So I'm Indrajit Ghurpade. I'm director for solution engineering for XenTegra India. So XenTegra is an organization which is actually born with a need for customer enablement and a true partnership. with the customers. So our business model is very simple: build a community and then create solutions that serve the community. So we are majorly like working in three verticals, or you can say like dip- business units, where like we are having a reselling organization where we are doing product and product and solutions resell and like licensing, renewals, and those things. Services, like under services vertical, we have a managed services entity where we are providing 24 cross 7 managed services for virtualization, cloud, networking, data center, and other technologies. And it is like we have a 24 cross team for it. And like solution selling, look, we even have a like consulting organization where we are actually providing consulting to our customers, where we work closely with customer, understand their pain points, understand their use cases, and like provide or build a solution with the OEMs or like with the partners with whom we are working closely. So broader scope, these are the four verticals for us. Uh, we are value-added reseller providing hardware, licensing, and software solutions to our customers. Then like consulting organization where we are providing like consulting or like guidance to our customers, like on different technologies. Managed services, as I covered, like it's a 24 cross 7 support on the majorly virtualization, cloud, and networking technologies. So we have one good thing, like which is kind of a USP of us, like where we are providing complementary assessments. So for all the solutions which we are working with, we majorly for Citrix, like and the VDI solutions, because like we are hyper focused on like end user computing. So we are providing complementary assessment to our customers, where we are going in our customer environment, like executing a couple of scripts and like overall getting that 360-degree view of the entire IT infrastructure, and we'll uh, present to the customer like how the current infrastructure looks like, and like if there are any security changes needed in the environment and like that. So this is the complementary thing, and like we're not charging this for anything. So whoever is interested in it, please reach out to us, and like we will help you out with this assessment. So in short about XenTegra, which I already covered earlier, but we started in year 2012, 75 plus partners, 350 plus customers, 20 plus vendor partnerships where we are working closely with these vendors. So these are a couple of vendors: Citrix, Netscaler, VMware, ControlUp, Microsoft, IQ, and like that. So as I said, we are having multiple divisions within the organization. So this is like these are the entities like in our organization. The XenTegra International is the global entity or like the parent entity, where again reselling entity, Connect, government entity, which is specifically working with US federal accounts, then Canada, India, and like the consulting entity. And we have one more like organizations within our group is Computers for Community. So it's a non-profitable organization where we are trying to help our customers. And yeah, Tony, like just allow me 2 minutes. I'll just finish this and I'll address to your query. Yeah, so these are the entities. Thanks. These are the entities like under Computers for Community. We are helping the community in different ways, and we are doing a couple of activities across the globe and multiple regions wherever people need uh, our help. So again, these are our focus partners. It is VMware, Nutanix, ServiceNow, Fortinet, IGIL, Microsoft, Netscaler. These are strategic partners. We are even tied up with all the leading hyperscalers. So whatever solutions we are working in, we can provide it on cloud, on premise, or in a hybrid manner. So as I said, solutions, services, reselling. So these are like kind of our managed services model, which we are working, which we are providing to our customers. Yeah. So Tony raised his hand, so I'll just allow him to talk. Hey, hi, Mark. Yeah, please. Do you have any question, Mark? Okay, John.
It looks like he's on mute, Mark.
Yeah, I'll just unmute. I'll actually unmuted him, but again, I'll make him.
George has some question as well.
Yeah. So till the time Mark comes back, I'll just unmute Jana. Hey, hi, Jana. Do you have any question? You can talk now.
And Moyne also
Mark, do
put
you
a
have any
message
question?
in the chat. If you have any questions, maybe just pop them in the chat. And we can address them.
Okay, then let's without wasting much time, we'll just whatever queries will or questions will address at the end, and like if anyone is having any questions, even they can put in the chat box. So without taking much time, I'll hand it over to Mark again. Thank you so much, John, for coming early in the morning and presenting for us. I'll just stop my screen
Of
and
course.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I do have a small presentation that we'll go through here, and let me share my screen. Okay. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, we can able to see.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So yeah, thank you very much for inviting ControlUp to participate in this webinar. We've had a great relationship with XenTegra over the years, and very happy to be involved in the work you guys are doing over in India, and as you expand out globally. And so ControlUp, I'll give you a little introduction about myself first. So my name is John Hare. I've been with ControlUp coming up on 2 years now. Prior to coming over to ControlUp, I actually worked a lot with ControlUp, selling it on a reseller side for about 4 years. So I've been working with the product for a very long time. It's a wonderful product. The reason I decided to join ControlUp actually is because of all of the different products that I saw out in the marketplace. In my experience has been around the virtualization space, Citrix, VDI for the last 15 plus years, and before that was around a lot of infrastructure. So it's one of the few products that I saw in the marketplace that really had a lot of innovation, continually adding features, adding functionalities, adding value to customers. And so I'm really happy to share this with you to give you an introduction to what ControlUp is and what ControlUp does. So again, my name is John Hare. ControlUp is and there's a new term coming out in the market that I think a lot of people hear about now. It's called digital employee experience. And what that means is that we care about the end user's digital workspace, right? So with the pandemics and all of the other things that happened over the last few years, and I think that everyone on this call has already been doing this, but the virtualization worlds and the digital employee experience, what they're able to leverage from their organizations to work from either in the office or at home, or this very, very flexible work environment across the globe. It's hard to understand and quantify what that end user is experiencing, and how good their environment is for their work habits. So ControlUp gives you visibility around that, and really gives you the ability to see what that end user is not only doing, but how they interact with the components within your organization. So whether it's the applications, the infrastructure, specifically around Citrix and VDI, I think we all can understand that there are a lot of moving parts that come with VDI, whether that's the hypervisor, the storage layers, all of these different components that go into making that user experience what it is. It's really difficult to understand the entire picture. And what I'll do is I'll go through a few slides here, and then we'll kind of get into a demo and show you what the product looks like. But what ControlUp does is we really focus on that end user experience and understanding what's going on. So whether that's the VDI platforms, or it's the physical endpoints that they're coming from. And those physical endpoints could be anything from a Windows box to a Linux machine to a thin client like an iGel or a Dell Y, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. We work on just about any operating system that's out there. So we're going to be able to understand and see and give visibility into all of the different functionalities and components that the end users are coming from and what they're connecting to. And then we look at the applications and unified communications on the other side of the thing. So what are those users running on, but also what are those users accessing and what applications are they accessing? So we'll be able to give you real-time information about what that looks like, and then also historical trending information about what that user's experience or what your environment's experience looks like over time. Up to a year of data we provide, by default. So, oops. And so this slide, I really wanted to just kind of show you that we're very agnostic when it comes to other technologies. So I know we're focusing a lot on Citrix here, but that Citrix environment could be on-prem, it could be in Azure, it could be in AWS. They could be connecting to multiple different platforms, it could be running on top of Nutanix, iGel devices, all those different things. The vendors that you leverage within your environment are going to be different across different companies. ControlUp can help you access and understand all of those different components. We're not just attached to one particular vendor or another. A lot of organizations have a big mix too. So it could be that you're delivering applications to your end users, or you're delivering a full desktop experience. Some of your users may be running on physical endpoints. So it's good to have a product that can give you visibility to all of those things. And so just to kind of give you a high level, what we'll cover today is going to be our platform, which will kind of give you an overview on that. And then we'll break it down into the different solutions that we offer, right? So there's a few different solutions around physical endpoints, the VDI and DAS space, some SaaS and web applications, unified communication. So we'll just kind of cover those different areas. Those are the big buckets of things that we see that are really high level focuses for organizations that are offering, something like this to their users. And so the digital employee experience, right? So consumers, they want a frictionless technology experience, right? They want to be able to just open up your phone and open up an application, or open up your laptop and just access everything right away, right? Users are getting so used to having that seamless experience. In order to deliver that seamless experience, IT teams have a very difficult job, right? It's a very complex environment to make their environment or their end user experience simple, right? But there's a lot of things that go into it. So that makes it really, really hard to deliver something like that for the end users. I think all of us in the room are involved in some type of VDI worlds, and to understand all of the different things that go into it, whether that's profile technology, hypervisors, configuration of storage, configuration of end user workspaces, desktops, and redirections of folders, access to data. Those things are very, very complex. So understanding what all those things go into and how they impact that end user is imperative. And a lot of times, whether that's first level or third level support folks, or even in the architecture world, it's hard to understand where you're having problems. And so ControlUp gives you a really easy single pane of glass to see all of those different components together. So, oops. And so it kind of brings all of those things together. And so what I'd like to do is just at that point, I want to go through and show you some of the different pieces within the product itself. So let me flip over to my demo environment. The one nice thing about our product is it demos very well. It looks really nice. So if you have seen ControlUp in the past, you may have seen, and I'll flip over real quick and show you this. This is our kind of our older console. This is our management console. It's where we used to do everything, but now we have fully integrated web applications and web dashboards now. So I'll focus here. And so this top level view that we're looking at right here is just a dashboard. So this is a dashboard of all of my users in my environment. Now, what you're looking at here is ControlUp employees and ControlUp information in here. So we live and breathe within this environment. This is what we work in. And so we can see all of the different machines and different users that are working inside of ControlUp's environment. This dashboard view is just one dashboard view. And you can create all kinds of custom dashboard views that you want. So I have a few here, right? So this is a Citrix dashboard. This gives me a view that, say, a Citrix administrator would want to look at. So I can see kind of my CVAD health. I can see which machines are available, which ones are cloud. I can go into my login times. I can go into my users, who are my top consumers and my user base, what applications, memory, hypervisors, even NetScalers, right? So I can really get into that. And I can customize these dashboards however I want. So I can add widgets, and I can focus those widgets on different particular areas that I want to, and then I can create different kinds of charts and stuff. So you can see it's really customizable. But just wanted to give you a couple different dashboards so you can see kind of a different view. For example, this would be like a healthcare executive dashboard, right? So if you wanted to give executive dashboards, we have when our customers leverage our products, we'll create dashboards and help you create dashboards for different types of users in your environment. So the help desk may need some dashboards that sit on screens on the wall. The actual help desk technicians will have a different screen that's more focused on end users. Executives want to see, you know, our top performers. They want to see, you know, hey, is everything green or is there any red in the environment, right? And they want to be able to drill down in and go, okay, well, what are all these red things here? They can quickly drill in and see, okay, these are my high stress machines and users in my environment. Okay, so what's going on? Then I start drilling in to finding out what's going on in my environment, right? So it's a great product. What you see here is, if you look in the center here, this is my user sessions. So as say a help desk technician, this is where I'm going to focus, right? I have all my end users here. Now the information to the left of my end users over here are going to be underlying infrastructure components. So these end users are going to be sitting on top of these machines that are running on these hosts that are attached to data stores and clusters and all this stuff, right? And then on the right, I have other components like load balancers and NetScalers, and over here you see some AVD, some Azure workloads too. But when I drill into my end users, I can really get a feeling of what's going on with my end users. So this particular end user has a high stress level. I can see some high level information about them right here. They've been on for 14 hours. This user's running on this particular machine. I can also see that they're coming in to VDI from a physical endpoint. Now, if I wanted to see the client metrics, I can simply click on here and I can see all their network telemetry information. So this is a great view from the physical endpoint that user is coming from. So they're on a Mac and they're connecting in on their home Wi-Fi, and even their ISP information is visible here. I can see all of the different network hops to get back into this VDI in the back end, right? So right now I see there's 114 millisecond latency. That's probably not too bad. They're probably having a pretty decent time on networking. Okay, so let's drill into this particular machine or this particular user. So I select that end user, and now you can see all of the information. This is real-time information about what's going on with this particular end user, which machine they're coming from, and then their VDI session here. And then I can drill into, you know, what's going on. Is it LAN latency? Are they having networking problems? What applications they're leveraging? All of that kind of stuff is available here. And then the other really fantastic part about ControlUp is that it's interactive. So, okay, I've maybe identified something that's going on in this particular machine. Maybe I want to help this end user. Now I can take action, right? So it's not just a monitoring tool showing you information. it's also a remediation solution. So if I want to go in there and do, and for Citrix environments, I can do just about anything you need to be able to do in Citrix Director from ControlUp. So if I'm disconnecting sessions, if I want to take screenshots, if I want to do a remote control, I can also go in and do things like analyze the login duration, right? I can break down their login time from GPOs to if they're using FS Logic containers, all of those different things that happen inside of the login. I can go ahead and take a look at those things. I can refresh group policy, do system health checks. And then down here, what you'll see here, these are organizational actions. So these are actions that are available from either our script library or any scripts that you want to create that you use in your organization. We can pop them in here. So anything that's a PowerShell or a VB script or anything like that, batch files, you can run those from here on that particular endpoint, right? So for example, if I wanted to go in and do a log off, I can, or if I wanted to go down and do a screenshot, or I want to do a login duration, I can just simply run a script and it provides me that input, okay? I can even drill down and go do like a command prompt or all that kind of stuff. So tons of interaction, all of the different things that you want to be able to help your end user with, okay? Let me come back here real quick to my end users. And so I just want to kind of show you some different views for an organization when they're looking at things. So if I wanted to see, say, for example, this is my Citrix management layer. So right here, I can see some PVS servers. I can see cloud connectors, all of those different components in my environment. Some of this information we're collecting because we have an agent on that server or that endpoint, or we're using API calls back into it, right? So this particular machine is a PVS box. I can now go in there and see what applications are running, processes, all that kind of stuff. If I go over to something like, let me see, where is, let me come back to the top level here. If I wanted to look at my hypervisors, I can very simply go into my hosts. And this is a VMware host, or I think I have a Zen server host somewhere in here too, or Hyper-V. But if I'll just select one particular VMware host. This is through an API call back to vCenter. So I can now see everything in your hypervisors. And this is the visibility you can give to not only your Citrix administrators, but also your first level support folks. So a first level help desk technician can see when a hypervisor may be acting poorly, or a data center, a data store is acting poorly, right? So giving you a lot of visibility. And then you can also configure the product to give different roles in your organization, different kinds of rights. So role-based access. So you may not want your help desk folks being able to restart a hypervisor, but you can give that access to, say, a Citrix architect, right? Or something like that. So a lot of different information that you can see in here. I'll go back and I'm going to flip from VDI right now real quickly over to the physical endpoint side of things to give you a little different view of some things. So even though we run mostly in a virtualized world nowadays, they're still connecting from a physical endpoint from somewhere, whether that's a Windows machine, a thin client, a Linux device, an iGel, whatever it might be, they're going to be running in here. And so you can see here, this is a view of all of my physical endpoints that are online right now across the globe. I can drill into those simply by selecting one, or I can select, devices up here. But right now I'm going to go just show you some other dashboards that are available. So that was my end user experience dashboard. If I wanted to see maybe a network performance dashboard, I can drill into that. You can see the different types of draft dashboards that you have access to. So this is showing me network utilization across all my endpoints. I can also drill into a devices view, right? That just shows me literally a list of devices. Or I can go into performance dashboard on devices, right? So this gives me just different types of views and how you want to see things. Then if I want to drill into particular machines, I can just drill in. Now it's going to show me all my Windows devices, and you can see there's all different filters up here for doing all kinds of different things. So now I can see all of my machines. These are Linux devices, right? And then depending on what device I have selected, I'll get access to different types of behaviors. So for physical endpoints, very similar to our VDI solution, we have the ability to take action on that particular machine, right? And these actions are going to be based on what kind of machine that you're connecting to. So you can see there's a bunch of iGel actions here because this is an iGel device. If I was selecting a Windows device, and let me make sure I have, I'm going to pick a Windows device that's actually online if I can find one here. See who's awake here. You can see here that my scripts and my available actions are completely different because I'm connecting to a Windows device here. I can also do remote assistance. So I can send them messages. I can do a remote shell. I can remote control the machine. So if you're using like a VNC or, BOMGAR or anything like that, you don't even need that kind of stuff anymore. You can leverage ControlUp to access that. Power management, all kinds of different views to get to that particular endpoint, okay? And so let me go back to my devices. Okay, so that's all physical endpoints. So tons of different things that we can do to help troubleshoot and remediate end user issues. The other piece that I want to show you here is, and I believe I'm probably kicked out of that one right now, is my historical information. So I'm going to go into my historical insights. So this is 12 months of data about your environment. So I get this top view is an insights view. I think for Citrix folks, these next two are really, really great to see. These are environment assessments. So this is a 30-day view on environment, and I can see here what my average is on my hosts. I can see what types of hosts are out there, what kind of computers I have in my environment, session counts, usage by users, by computers. This is a 30-day average of my environment, right? The other one that we have here is a sizing recommendation. So as you look at your environment to see a future cast of what's going on in your environment, like, what kinds of machines are over consuming resources or under consuming resources? Do I need to add hardware? Do I have too much hardware, right? I can go in there and see my sizing recommendations. Apparently the 54 of my machines are over consuming RAM, right? I have a lot of some RAM being unutilized. I can select those things and drill into them. So if I look at computers that are oversized, I select those, and then it'll show me my machines that are right sized. Right. If I look at my machines that are undersized, oops. It's not working for me, but anyway, it'll show you that you can go in there and change and recommend sizing changes in your environment. We also see statistics by computers, by machines, and then you can get into things like NetScalers too, right? So we do API calls into the NetScalers, so we're going to be able to see high level on your actual NetScalers, what kind of traffic you're seeing, utilization of resources, if it's a physical or a virtual device, doesn't really matter to us. And then we can even get into load balancers. So we can see all your VIPs, all your virtual IPs, and we can drill into those VIPs, those load balancers, and see, what ports they're running on, what the health of those things are at, what kind of active sessions are running on them, and then we can change the time frame. So right now you're looking at a 24-hour view. If I wanted to see the last month or the last year, I simply go up here and just change the time frame that I'm looking at. So now I'm looking at a month of data for these NetScalers, these load balancers. So a lot of great information. One thing I'll say is that depending on your Citrix licensing and what you have available through Director, I think, and I think the premium plus versions or the plus versions, I can't remember which, with the whole Citrix licensing models change all the time on me, but some of the director licensings give you 30 days of information and some of them give you 12 months of data. So depending on what licensing you have, you may not even be able to see, a year of data within director itself. So this will give you some really good historical information about your environment. And then the last thing I'd like to show you real quick is around unified communication. So if you're using Teams or Zoom, and we're working on WebEx and I think Ring and a couple other ones, but Team and Zoom are kind of the de facto universal clients out there. I can see all the calls that happen inside of my environment. So if you're leveraging, say, Teams, I can go out there and see historical and some real-time information about calls that are happening inside of my environment. So if a user calls in and says, hey, I'm having a poor experience, or hey, I had a call on last Tuesday and it didn't go very well, I can go back and simply look through my calls and find that call or find that particular user. I'm just going to sort by score here. Let's see here, I'll pick a call. If I drill into this call, I'm getting information from two places. I'm getting it from our agent, then I'm also getting it from the Teams dashboards. So typically a first level support person wouldn't have access to that. So this is great information to give them to say, okay, yeah, I can see your call here. Looks like you did audio, you did video, you shared your screen. And then I can really get, and I'm not a networking guy, I'm not a UC person individually, but this looks like a lot of really good information about those calls, right? So you're seeing throughput, you're seeing jitter, packet losses, all that kind of stuff. You can at least give information to that end user about what happened in that session. You can also see what devices we're connecting from or we're connecting to, who the users were internally and externally. So really good information around unified communications. And so is there any questions here? Let's look in the chat real quick there. So that I just want to give you kind of a high level overview of what ControlUp is. Hopefully this is some good information about what ControlUp does. I'll say that a lot of the customers that leverage ControlUp that are also Citrix customers, you'll find that the first and second level never even open up Director, to be honest. So everything that you need to do in Director, you can pretty much do inside of ControlUp. Come on. There we go. And then, there's one other thing I wanted to show you here, which is around some of the Azure components that are inside of here. So if you're running your workloads inside of Azure, I want to show you some things in here. So we're going to be able to show you some of the Azure information about what's going on here. And I'm going to pull up a FS Logics view, actually. So if you're using FS Logics, for example, this is a ABD multi-session machine that's also running outside of Citrix. I can see everything about this particular machine. And then I can also drill into some FS Logics information. So if I wanted to drill into here, where'd it go? I grabbed the wrong machine here. Okay, here you go. This is what I want to see here. FS Logics Health. So I can see the containers. I can see FS Logics versions. This is all stuff that we've just recently added into this last feature that we put out there. But you can see if it's a profile container, if it's an Office container, you can see all those different FS Logics profile information, all that kind of stuff, and it's in here. And if I change my view back to my normal view, and I select to take a machine, it's going to show me my users and everything that's going on in there too. So A lot of different views. You can see that there's a lot of information in here. I don't want to try to cover everything. I just wanted to give you kind of a high level of what ControlUp's capabilities are, what we're able to do, and help you in your environments. So I'd just like kind of open up for any questions that you might have.
Thanks, John, for this like quick and short presentation as well as demo about the product. Anyone, if any questions, you can type in the chat box, or you can raise your hand, and we'll unmute you and you can ask your question. Either you can type in the chat box or you can talk. Just raise your hand and we'll unmute. Yeah, John, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was going to add one more thing here. Let me bring up a quick screen. So you can actually go out and do a test drive on ControlUp. I'm just trying to get a new window here in Chrome. Here. Let's get our screen here real quick here. Okay. So this live trial link here, if you go out to this live trial and you want to take a look at ControlUp, this will actually bring you into the exact same environment that I was just showing you. So you can do a one-time live trial, and I'll pop this into the chat as well. And it'll actually give you a walkthrough for a demo if you want to take a look at the product. So this is the exact same environment I just opened up, except for, except for this is a customer view. So you won't see everything inside of this view, but you'll see most of it. So.
Yeah, and we can also help. Thanks, Sean. This is Moin for getting on early and walking everyone through this nice tool that can give you a lot of visibility. And one thing that you talked about, how few of the things that we see it in Citrix that shows here in ControlUp as well. But the biggest differentiator that I see a lot of time is the remediation piece. And that is one of the things that is that sets ControlUp apart, not only monitoring your Citrix environment, your end user experience from your endpoint. Citrix gives you from the hardware, server and infrastructure perspective, but giving you end user experience, especially in this days when there are a lot of people working from home. There are many things. It is very difficult for IT administrators and Citrix administrators, or even anyone managing VMware environment or AVD, all these tools. It is extremely difficult for IT administrators to go in and troubleshoot and pinpoint what could be the issue, especially if they are coming from their home office or they're coming from road. These are the places where Citrix ControlUp gives you tons of visibility from your endpoint devices, along with remediation on things like print spooler crashed. You can go in and configure that if there is anything specific that happens, like services stopped or any application crashed, on what remediation steps to take. And that is something that is a lifesaver for someone who is managing end user compute environment. So again, with
Thanks,
that,
Mohan, for
I'll
having me.
thank everyone. Yeah, I would thank everyone. John, thanks again for coming in and presenting. We will be more than happy to address any question. If you would like, send us. We will post this webinar on YouTube as well and other social media. You are more than welcome to send us email if you have any question that was not being answered or addressed in this webinar. With
Okay, so
that, we
if
can
Thank
there are
you,
wrap it
no
everybody.
up.
further questions, thanks, John. Thanks for your time early in the morning and having this quick presentations covering everything about ControlUp as a solution. Looking forward to more and more such webinars about ControlUp, and let's work together with our customers in this region, because ControlUp as a solution, it's little new to in this market, India, and like the overall APAC market. So let's work together and like grow that awareness about ControlUp and work together. Thank you. Thanks a lot, John. Thanks, Moin,
Thank you
for
very much.
being part of this webinar. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Yep, have a great day. And
Yeah,
goodbye.
thanks. Bye.